morning, greetings from Ireland. It's going to be a little short. It's actually a picture in the background. It's not really Ireland, though it does look like that. There you go, some parts of it. So, what am I saying? I want to talk about creation. God made this world, beautiful creation, but He is not the world. He is apart from the world, and God is an individual, and He's in it. But also, He made us individual. We are all unique. There is none of us the same. Yeah, of course, unique in personality, fingerprints, etc., etc. But also, we are individual beings. We all will stand alone before God. And then there's a third thing, which is the creation itself. That is an entity. Oswald Chambers says it's got its own soul. It's one big, huge entity. And he quotes Ecclesiastes that when a man dies, his spirit goes to God. When an animal dies, its spirit goes back to the earth. That it's one colossal ecosystem, and we are not part of it. I am not part of the earth, and nor am I God. God is individual, you are individual, I am individual, and the creation itself is individual. So, this gives us a wonderful, I just want to make one comment on this, and we'll finish. There is a guy called Martin Buber. He was a Jewish thinker, and he loved God. He had experiences with God. I think he was Christian, but I'm not sure. But he had experiences with God and faith. And but one time someone came to meet him, and he talked and listened, but didn't listen deeply. And 1 month later or so, that guy committed suicide. And he says, "Why did I not listen to the questions he was not asking, the things he was not saying?" And he says, "I didn't really connect with him as a person. I didn't recognize that." But it brought him to really go into those things, and he's done tremendous work on what he calls and he came at this concept of I-it relationship, or I-thou relationship. He said I-it is when you treat people like an object, somebody that I can get something from, or they are an object like a phone or like a car that I use for certain purposes for myself, or I take them as an extension of myself. But they are not, they are individuals. So when you treat them as I, thou, he's saying, when you have them as a thou, you recognize a sacredness in the person and as an image bearer of God. And as a result, you have that deeper connection. And he says, what happens when you take someone, you as a complete individual entity, and another person, sacred person, and you really connect with that person. He says God fills the space between you. So when there is that real connection and deep listening between people, you end up that the space in between is filled by God, and you kind of are touching what he calls the eternal thou. So there you go. God has made us unique, and each one of us, and when we recognize that in ourselves, it's wonderful. And when we recognize it in others, it gives us that ability to reverence them in a way and see them as sacred, honorable, and it can make us really connect with them as separate from us.